The following contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Hi, Lowell.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Hi.
I'm here to push Mark out.
Good. Push him out like a big turd.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like a log?
Like a big turd.
Like a log. I mean, I can't tell you how much I was cracking up today.
Oh, yeah, we need to get the logs.
It was nonstop. It was like 20 minutes of full-fledged. The logs were short on Monday. I mean, a little bit more technical stuff. And then they were like, why don't we take the logs back to the team to review?
You should have like dropped in a line and just been like, well, do you think we should? I mean, these logs are hard.
They're really hard.
Yeah.
And long at times.
Yeah.
And really hard to put together.
Right. Right. These logs are falling apart.
Hello, boys. Mark.
I just pooped and it smells fabulous.
Lowell.
Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one.
It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
It was a show just for me and you, much like this podcast.
Where two guys bring you stories and opinions.
Our listeners will not laugh.
But if we laugh, then people will laugh.
Built on 30 years of friendship.
You were singing operatically.
Yeah, while you were taking the camera.
And I was zooming in.
Zooming in on my crotch.
Yes.
Along with a regular cast of pals to help them remember it all.
Camp is the best.
Get your shit together.
All right, so back to your swamp ass.
Say ho.
Now, here's Marc and Lowell.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Marc and Lowell Show. My name is Aaron Lamb and I'm here to present the 12th edition of the Best of Mandel. For this edition of the Best of Mandel, I dug back into the Mandel logs and found 3 more of my favorite segments from years ago. We'll be taking a look back at episode 189 for a fantastic relationship drama between Marc and Amy and the airlines and the hotels and lots more. We'll also be taking a look back at episode 197 for another Melzer injury recap. But first, we're going to take a look back at episode 92 for the time that Allie totally busted Lowell for being hangry before dinner.
Resistance is futile. It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
My reputation must be out there because, you know, Allie did something similar to me.
Oh.
When we were by her parents. You know how I get hangry.
Yes, you do get hangry.
So her dad booked this dinner at, it was a like a country club, but it was like a resort. It was Eagle Rock Resort. We had played golf there before, and they have a dining center there.
Okay.
We walk into the place. We had a reservation, and it was very crowded. Mm-hmm. And I could see from across the dining room that these 2 heavy-set women, were letting the manager and the hostess have it.
Oh, really?
And then a further scope of the room noticed not a lot of people had food.
Oh.
So while we're waiting for the hostess to return, this other woman comes up to us and says, hey, you guys don't have reservations here, do you? And we're like, yeah. And the woman's like, get out of here while you can.
Oh my God.
It is horrible.
Really?
Our dinner took like 2 hours, this and that, this and that. And we were like, huh? What? So then this woman was wearing a black and white shirt.
Okay.
Okay. And she was a little overweight. The hostess comes back who's wearing a very similar shirt. And my father-in-law got confused and thought it was the same woman who just told us to leave.
Oh, no.
And he says to her, he's like, oh, you work here? And the woman was like, what do you mean do I work here? Yes, I work here. Like, really rude.
That's the worst when you do that. Like, if you go to a Target and you see a dude wearing a red shirt, you're like, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to find this penis cream. Can you help me out? And the guy's like, no, sorry, man, I don't work here.
I don't work here, man. Sorry. You know, I get that sometimes at restaurants once in a while because I'm always wearing a tie.
Oh, yeah.
People come up and think I'm like the manager.
Yeah, are you the manager?
Yeah, sure. I'll take that check from you. You going to pay cash only?
Yeah.
Cash only. Just give me cash.
That's a good racket. You should start doing that.
That's a great racket. So anyway, we...
So did you stay?
Well, no, then what happened was Allie went to the bathroom, and Allie's mom told the hostess that she said, well, I think we might be leaving because my daughter's pregnant and not feeling well. We're going to check it out. And then we just darted out of there.
Oh, yeah, because you can't tell the truth.
Yeah. So we left the restaurant, and, you know, it was now close to 8 o'clock. We were trying to figure out, should we go to Damon's or should we go to the Lookout House?
Okay.
That great Penn State game was on that night,
Yes,
too.
you were very excited on Facebook, I saw.
Right, and what would happen is we have stayed at this country club place, we wouldn't have seen the game.
Oh.
We decided we were going back and forth where to go, and then Allie, I swear to you, Mark, I wasn't saying a word. I was like, we could go to Damon's or we could go to Lookout. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We could, whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. And Allie kept saying, well, maybe we should just go to Lookout because Lowell's getting angry.
But you hadn't done anything.
I hadn't, and I was fine because I knew we were headed somewhere to eat.
But see, you've built yourself a bit of a reputation. Oh,
What?
I hear Allie in the background.
Oh, God.
Oh,
what?
no. Oh, no.
Come here. What? Oh, God. Hello?
He is in trouble.
Help!
I wish the listeners could see his face.
Did you think I wasn't going to hear you talking about me?
Yeah, well, no, I said, because you kept saying, oh, are you, Lowell's angry. You said Lowell's angry, and I said, I haven't said a word! I did snap eventually, and I said, I haven't said a word!
Oh, you did snap.
In front of her parents.
Oh. Allie, was he hangry?
The thing is, he was being very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when somebody's quiet,
Yes.
especially somebody like Lowell, who's, usually talkative, and
Right.
I figured he was hangry
Mm.
because it was 8:00. We couldn't decide where to go. And I didn't keep saying, I said it once when you were being very quiet after
Sure.
a long while when we were trying to make a decision. You were being very quiet, and I knew you were a little annoyed.
But I was keeping, because I was telling Mark, I said, I knew we were, I knew we were going to go somewhere to eat. I knew either Damon's or Lookout. But as it turned out, we had a really nice night.
Right, we did. But you know what it is?
I know exactly what it is, but go ahead.
In situations like this, when, we can't find a place to eat, or I just feel like somebody always gets in a mood.
And it's a good bet that it's going to be Lowell.
Right, right. And sometimes it's me. I mean, I just always feel like either he's in a mood or maybe my dad might be in a mood. Somebody's always in a mood. And I figured that because we couldn't decide where to go and Lowell was being very quiet, not helping try to steer us in one direction or another, I thought he was pissy.
No, I think you're right.
But I was fine. I said, well, we could go to Damon's. We could go to...
Then when he snapped at me, I knew I was right.
Oh,
I think it's that you were trying to be on your best behavior with your in-laws. So you were like really hangry, but you were trying really hard not to say anything because they would know you're hangry.
That's exactly right. I was just trying to go with the flow. And I was just like, yeah, we go to Damon's, we go to Lookout. I don't care. And Allie goes, well, Lowell's getting angry.
Did you see someone posted on an M&L fan page that the hangry pillow or something was said hangry?
Yes, I did see that.
But you know what, Lowell, we're past the honeymoon phase where he would be on his best behavior. He usually lets it.
Yeah.
If it was still the honeymoon period, then Lowell would never have snapped at you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then as soon as he snapped at me, I knew I was right.
Yeah.
And I still think I'm a little right.
You were right.
You have good Count Chocula breath.
Oh.
Can I have a kiss?
It's not Count Chocula.
What is it?
Ooh.
No kissing.
It's healthy. It was chocolate Cheerios.
Oh, okay. I knew it was chocolate something.
Yeah.
What's funny is I was wondering about Allie's breath because I'm looking at the two of you on the screen here.
No.
And you're sharing a microphone, and Lowell's nose was right at your mouth. And I kept thinking, I wonder if she's got bad breath.
No, but I know. That's right. And it smelled of delicious chocolate cereal. That's why I was staying here so long.
That's better than like breath.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, we all know Lowell loves to smell Allie's farts.
Oh, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
We all know. Notice, listeners, Allie's not saying anything. Mm-hmm.
You're sick.
Yep.
You're a sick
very
person. Sick person.
He likes all the scents that come out of me.
Well, she's pregnant. You have a good excuse.
What? I said all. That didn't mean
all.
What, you're Lowell, you're just going right to the baby. You're just saying she can do whatever she wants because she's got the baby.
Yeah, she's got baby.
Right,
She's
I
only
get
got
the
a couple
free
more
pass.
months. Yeah.
I know. It's coming.
Coming, baby.
Yeah.
Baby, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
I still think I'm right, and he was a little hangry.
You were right, and he was hangry.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
All right,
But
bye.
I hear what you say about
Oh,
me.
I know. She's monitoring very closely.
I'm glad she is, because we get good content like this.
Yeah.
Right.
I put the Bravo on pause, and I have to come down.
She's like screaming.
The Marc and Lowell Show. Let the making begin.
I'll start by saying there was tension on the day we were going to even, fly out to Florida. We flew there, drove back. And the whole drive back, that's an entirely new story.
Why did you drive
I want to
back?
hear the story, too, about the drive back.
We drove back to save money and points.
Yep.
That was the main reason. And I'll tell you that it's extremely affordable during this time of year to rent. We rented a minivan for the 5 of us. Extremely affordable because they want more cars coming up north because everybody's renting to go south for spring break. So it was only like $25 a day to rent this minivan.
What? From who?
From Alamo.
Wow. Would you get it at the airport?
We got it at the airport,
Wow.
at Orlando. So that's really good, and it was unlimited miles.
Wow.
So, I mean, you couldn't pass up that opportunity.
Yeah.
But boy, will we get to that story too. But there was tension out of the gate on the night or the day we were going to leave. We actually left at 8:30 at night on Sunday, this past Sunday. Amy did warn me. She said, when I'm traveling, particularly with the kids, she said, I do stress out. I just get antsy. And she gave me that warning. But, you guys all know Amy very well. She's a pretty laid-back, easygoing kind of person. So it was a giant shock to the system when she was an entirely different person getting ready for the trip. I mean, it was don't get in her way, if you want to live.
Right.
Pretty much how it went. And if I like to bust balls a lot, and I would bust her balls on occasion during our prep to leave.
Give us an example of one thing.
I would give a suggestion on, I don't know, I'm partially making this up because I can't come up with an exact.
Shut up, you dope!
But, something like packing up for all 5 of us. And here it is. We were trying to figure out how to get to the airport because we have 5 people traveling and 5 pieces of luggage, actually even more than that. So you can't all fit in a car and somebody give us a ride to the airport and all fit comfortably.
Right.
So we need 2 cars. So we actually recruited her dad and my dad to take us, split it all up, and get us to the airport. And she was insisting that we could do it just with one car, with one parent helping, and that we'd only needed to take 1 car. And I said that will be impossible to do. There's too much luggage. There are too many people. And both our fathers have volunteered to do this, so we're good. We don't need to worry about changing things up. We're fine. And even that would set her off. She doesn't want to inconvenience anybody, and we can do this, and why won't you just let me do this, Mark? And I would say, why don't you just relax and not worry about this? We've got it all taken care of. Let's not stress.
That's throwing oil on the fire.
And that's exactly what it would do. Yeah, she would. It would piss her off that I would suggest something different than than her plan. So it would be that kind of thing. And then I would ball bust on occasion if we're in a good mood in the moment, and I would say something and she would fight me on it. I would just say, "Man, are you stubborn?" and just kind of laugh about it.
Ooh.
And boy, she would go off on me. I'm telling you, it was like I told her nickname was She-Hulk.
Like, what would she say to you?
Maybe I should just go on this trip myself. I'd probably have a better time.
Oh, see, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. And then what's funny, though, is that her kids obviously know her in travel mode a lot better than I do. And so they
just have their faces in the iPads. And
yeah, they know not to get in her way. But at the same time, when I would call her out on maybe being too stubborn or too stressed, the kids would back me up, which would make it even worse.
Yeah, for sure.
The kids are agreeing with me when I'm joking about how stubborn she's being.
Well, as a planner, I will say that, if you put a lot of effort and time in front planning something, you have a vision of how you had planned for it. And when people come in and kind of in their helpful way offer suggestions, it's a little bit like, you know what, I've got this. Like, I already planned it. Don't change my stuff now.
And there is a point of contention, because the other thing would be is leading up to the trip, Mark, I'm planning everything. Why don't you get involved? And why don't you try to help with the planning? So then when I would try to help and then she would fight me on it, I would get frustrated with that. And of course, because she is pretty much funding this whole trip,
right,
I would feel guilty about really trying to plan leading up to the trip, because this is kind of her thing and she'd put it all together. And so there was a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And then our plan was to leave the house by 6:00 for an 8:30 flight.
You were leaving at 8:30 at night?
Yes. Again, Dan, trying to save some cash.
Yep.
Oh, and then you guys got in late too.
Yeah, we got in at like 11 something. But her father calls us an hour or two before we're supposed to go and says, "Oh, I just heard on the radio and got an alert on my phone. There is a massive backup." But immediately Amy says, "Let's leave an hour early." I'm thinking, let's wait and let's see what's going on here. I checked all the traffic reports. I checked Google Maps. I checked everything I could. I even went
the hour early.
I'm seeing it everywhere, and I'm sending her the reports, and I'm saying, it's okay. We'll be fine if we want to leave a little bit earlier, fine. But I don't think we're going to have to leave an hour early and then have to spend 3+ hours waiting to get onto the airplane at the airport doing nothing.
How many times can you read In Touch magazine over and over?
Right. She's still kind of insisting, all right, we're leaving an hour early, and her father is insisting that we leave an hour early. And he gets there, and she calls my dad and says, can you come get us earlier? And my dad says, sure. And then Amy tells me, it sounds like your dad was pissed off when I asked him. And I asked my dad about it. He's like, I wasn't pissed off at all. That's fine. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting on the couch anyway. So we were fighting about that. And then her father, I said to him, it says that the traffic's only going to be like 10 minutes. And then he's fighting me on the fact that it's going to be
Look,
an
Mark,
hour.
Listen, this whole relationship with my daughter's on thin ice anyway. So just cool it.
So finally I gave in, and I just said, okay, fine, we'll leave early. And Amy led the caravan of the two cars. It was me and Maya and my folks in their car, and her family in theirs. We're following them.
Right.
And about, 10 minutes before we got to 95, he called me in my car and said, listen, it's looking on the reports here like the traffic's letting up, and we're just going to take the normal route. And I said, okay, no problem. And I hung up, and I just said out loud, I said, okay, I was right. There was never any problem with the traffic. And then when we got to the airport, I said to Amy, once we were settled and got in, I said, just for the record, I think I was right about the traffic. And
Mark,
Yeah.
see, you have
Not the time,
Why would
buddy.
you even say that?
Yeah.
Why would you even say that? Just take the victory in your head.
it's not enough.
Yeah, because you got to fight.
It's not that I have to fight. The problem that one of the things Amy and I both realized is that both of us always have to be right. And it's just one of those things that will clash in certain situations.
Makes life so much easier.
Yeah, well,
Did she throw hot coffee in your face?
she wanted to.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, man. And then we're at the airport. One of the things that we fought about at the airport was my mom had told me when I was getting my stuff together and I was by myself, I think I was putting some stuff away in the studio, and when I was out of the room, she had made a comment to my folks about how Mark has to learn that I stress out on these trips. And she made just some comment about the fact that I was getting on her nerves. And she said this to my folks. And so this was sitting in the back of my mind brewing, and I was steaming just thinking about it. Even though she didn't really say anything terrible,
Right.
she just kind of announced to my parents that we were arguing a lot. And so I was in that mode. Lowell probably has seen it or been an active participant of something like this, where I then shut down.
Yeah.
While we were at the airport, I wasn't speaking because I said to myself, you know what? Anytime I open my mouth, I am getting attacked for it. As you guys are pointing out, sometimes my own fault for opening my mouth. But I kept quiet, and then so she called me out on it and just said, are you going to actually speak to me? And I said, no, I'm not, because I know anytime I say anything, it's just going to piss you off. And that also...
Not the right thing to say.
Not the right thing to say. And now here's the problem. You're traveling with your 3 kids. You don't really get any time to actually sit and talk one-on-one to try to work out the problem.
No.
So now we are fighting via text at the airport with our kids sitting with us. Amy, sitting on one set of chairs. I'm sitting on the other across from her. And we are yelling at each other via text, going over this whole debate and problem that we have about this travel.
Great way to start a vacation.
Oh, my God. Horrendous. And I will leave the cliffhanger and get to the more stressful vacation on our next show. But I will tell you that we finally get on the plane. Maya has only flown once in her life, and it was when she was 6 years old, so she doesn't remember it. So she was a little anxious about the flight, not uncontrollably, but just genuinely scared about flying. Made it clear I got to sit with you when we get on this plane. And it was Southwest, and, no assigned seating.
Right.
We were in the B group.
Right.
And we get on the plane, and it is packed to the brim. I mean, there are just scattered empty seats everywhere. There's not even 2 seats together.
Really? In the B group?
We walked all the way to the back of the plane. What I found out later was that somebody from the airline told her for some reason they let 20 people on before they boarded the plane at all. So I think that contributed to seats being scarce.
Right.
But now, her son's a little bit nervous of a flyer as well. We get to the back of the plane. Maya realizes that, we can't sit together at first, and she is panicked. I mean, now she has literally grabbed me, holding on to me, and not hysterically crying, but definitely tears are coming down her face because she is freaked the hell out.
Right.
So now we're stressing about that, but they made an announcement, and somehow it worked out. Me and Maya together, and Amy and her kids together, and the flight went relatively smoothly. And we get there, walk into our room, and we have one queen bed, no couch, no roll-away bed, nothing.
Cigarette stains.
And the kids are...
Those aren't cigarette stains on the chair at the computer desk.
So for some reason, the kids have it in their head that we were supposed to have a suite. And they're constantly talking about, what about the suite? What about the suite? And Amy all of a sudden loses it. There's no suite! There is no suite! Stop! Get it out of your head now! There is no suite! I will go take care of this! And she left the room and just left us in there. I was with the kids while she worked it out. And she ended up working it out to get us a suite. So that now Amy and I at least have our own room. And the kids have the common area room where there's the couch and the rollaway bed and all that. So it did work out, but it's just like we're finally over the stress of the travel, and we get to the hotel, and now we've got room issues as well.
Right.
But there was fighting about the Universal Studios park. If you could fight about it, we did.
Oh,
and you mean
great.
when you say you did, you mean you and Amy, or you as a whole family? There was
yes, the whole family. There were pockets of a little of everything, but and keep in mind now, if anybody has been following me telling all of my various tales, including when I was back with Mike O'Mara's show, like I said earlier, Maya and I traveled once before when she was 6, and we went to L.A. and we went to Disney World or Disneyland. And Maya was a complete nightmare at Disneyland. She was scared of everything.
That. I feel like I remember you saying that.
Scared of the characters, scared of the rides. We took her on what we thought was going to be a nice, quaint little train ride in Disneyland where it takes you all around the park. And we assured her it wasn't scary. And then, of course, they take us into the train. It goes into this dark tunnel, into these caves where these giant dinosaurs... Yeah, giant dinosaurs with red light-up eyes blinking at you. She's now terrible.
I ain't seen people around these parts in a long time.
So she's
Outlandish.
The whole theme park thing now, she doesn't trust us to this day. When we say, no, this is not a scary ride, she won't trust you because we had assured her back when she was 6 years old about it. So she's got this phobia of the parks. Matthew doesn't really like a lot of scary rides either, and then Haley does. So you put those three different kinds of kids together, and you've got a lot of trouble.
Resistance is futile. It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
I think our top story has to be Lowell on Monday. We were planning on recording Monday, and
this is the top story?
I think that's the top story.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know you have other thoughts on that.
Okay.
But I am very curious to hear about what happened to your finger.
Well, it's really not that exciting.
Yeah.
But we had just finished up an interview, and I was putting stuff back into the car, and I closed the door and saw stars.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Which finger got caught in the door?
My left middle finger.
Oh, no. So
I have to wear like this brace around it.
Oh, look at that! It's
convenient.
like it's like
extra
a robot
long middle finger. Yeah. So I've been taking it off to let it breathe a little bit, and I saw stars, and I was holding my hand, and I was like, oh my god, I think my finger's gone.
Yeah,
because there was like blood just pouring down.
What is it with the Melsers and their digits?
I don't know. And I saw, and like blood was like dripping onto the concrete below me. It was all over my shirt and everything. And I'm like, all right, I got to look at my finger and see what's going on here. And I looked at it, and
wait, now did you quickly look, or did you have to build up?
No,
I
took some time because I was holding it.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
it's like a big reveal show, you know? It's like,
yeah.
All right, let's find out after the break.
Right. Exactly. After that, we'll get to the bloody stump after the break. So then I look at it, and all I see is just like this mass of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, that's the bone. Oh my god, it wasn't the bone.
Well, what was it?
Spoiler alert, it wasn't the bone. It was, as I found out at the hospital, a bunch of fatty tissue that had come out through the cut that was in my finger.
Crap.
Oh my gosh.
I say immediately to my photographer, I'm like, we got to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
like, right
there's
now.
no question.
Because then he sees me like bloody, and he's like, holy shit. So
now, were you crying at any point?
No, I didn't cry at all. I was just like, we got to go to the hospital.
I have to ask.
We got to go to the hospital. Like that's literally what I was like. I wasn't crying.
I have to ask this part.
That's adult crying.
So
yeah, well, you know what it was? It was like it hurt like hell, but like I didn't. There wasn't like a mechanism going off in my body that I have to cry.
Right. Okay. It just didn't.
It was
trigger
like
that
it just
side.
really effing hurt.
Yeah.
And my reaction was like, I was just like taking deep breaths. Like I was like, oh my god. So luckily, my photographer had tons of paper towels in his truck.
Okay.
So he gives me like this huge wad, and he's like, just put it on the finger and just press it down, hold it on. And I'm like, all right.
Wait. At any point, does somebody ask you how you did this, how this happened to you?
No, I told him right away. I said, dude, I just slammed my hand in the door, and it's bleeding.
I got to go back to that too. Now, that moment, you slammed the door and your finger's in it. Now, did you instantly just scream bloody hell at that point? Or?
No, it like caught me off guard because I just wasn't expecting it. Because the problem was, so it was in the back seat. I had my briefcase and my my suit jacket was hanging up. Mm-hmm. And the problem was that the suit jacket was getting in the way. So I like pushed it out of the way, and I had to put my notebook back into the briefcase, and then the jacket got in the way again, and it just threw me off. And then I closed the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. God.
But I got it out.
Did you slam it because you were pissed, though, or?
No, he was just closing the door, you would close.
No,
the
just
door.
closing it. I was like, all right, done. And it was terrible too because like we were in such a good mood. We'd finished early. We were going to go get lunch. It was going to be great. And then so then
ruin it.
Luckily, like Sinai Hospital was only like a mile away, so we drove to the hospital, and I go into the ER covered in blood, and I'm like, yeah, I need help.
Did you say?
I think.
Hi, yeah, I'm Lowell Meltzer.
Yeah, I would have.
Well, they knew who They all knew who I was in there.
Really?
Too. Like everybody.
Wow.
All the nurses, like everybody.
Wow.
So like that helped.
I was going to say, otherwise you could have run in with your microphone with the WBAL flag around it.
Yeah. Well, and then there's all these people in the waiting room, and they're like sick. I don't know what was wrong with all these people, but like. When someone like me rolls in, like covered in blood, like I think everyone just kind of in the emergency room is just like, yeah, all right, you can go to the front of the line because you're
a bloody
blood.
mess.
Yeah. So then did that, went back, they cleaned it up. I had to soak it in iodine, and my boss came down, which was nice, and sat with me while I got the work done.
Wow, that's cool.
So they do this thing called a block where they stick this gigantic needle into your like right below the finger on the palm, like right there. I couldn't look at it.
So they go in basically through the top of the palm of your hand.
Yeah, which is like not a good place to get a needle put at all.
Oh my
like,
God.
Gonna feel a little sting, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little more than a sting.
When you say little, can you really specify what you mean by little?
And it's not like a shot. Like, like a shot's just like a shot. It's like, a second, or it's at most like 2 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Like when you get a flu shot, or like, and I had to get a tetanus shot too, which hurts too.
Right.
Tetanus
I love when you describe that you just rubbed your arm.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, because it still hurts.
Right.
Tetanus shot, and they're also like, yeah, tetanus shot, it's going to hurt for a couple of days after, too. And I'm like,
does a shot hurt more because tetanus uses a different type of needle? Or is it like the second you get a tetanus shot, it's like a different type of needle? Why is the tetanus shot hurt
I don't know.
more than
I think
another
it hangs
shot?
out. Like, I think it's all about like hanging out like in your arm, like whatever they're putting
length
into
of
your
time.
So
yeah,
it's not
if
the
you
shot.
feel it, if you feel like it's gone down, but like it swells where they put the shot, like when they do
a goose egg.
flu shots and tetanus, like it swells right there. So I don't know what that's all about, but it just does.
It's a tiny needle.
But this thing, I'm telling you, it was at least 5 to 8 seconds.
Yeah,
this shot.
That's
it was
a
like
long
sustained stinging into the into that. There's like it's like all muscle here. It's like there's like nothing here.
There's no fat or anything.
Yeah,
it's just skin and bone.
But what was cool, maybe like 15 seconds after they gave me my shot, my whole finger was like numb.
Yeah, right.
Like I couldn't feel it at all.
Yeah,
and then I watched I watched her stitch up my finger, which was kind of cool. But they had to push that fatty tissue that came out, push it back in, and sew it up. And meanwhile, they did give me some Oxy, which was nice.
Oh, yeah, because then you had told me that when you were home, you were very loopy.
Yeah, well, and then at the hospital, I got kind of lightheaded and nauseous because I hadn't eaten anything, and I took those kind of on an empty stomach. So then they gave me some orange juice and crackers, and then I felt better. But I was definitely getting loopy.
That's so
crackers.
nice.
Yeah.
What a happy ending to the story.
Yeah, so I got that. That was nice. But yeah, they had to do 6 stitches, and today the tip of my finger is like still numb from the whole thing.
Wow.
So I can feel it, but
you might lose it.
So I missed all work because I missed work all week because I had to take I was taking the stronger stuff in the beginning of the week.
Wait.
What?
Was it because you couldn't hold the microphone? Like, why couldn't you go to work?
Well, no, because it hurts.
Oh.
It hurts.
I see.
What?
You don't hear dance music?
What are you implying? We can talk about the other lead story.
We will. We're gonna. Don't worry.
I think the tables are turning on you, Lowell, now with that whole. Are you sure you're missing work because your finger hurts?
Oh, right. The back and the finger.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, considering my boss was with me when I got it done.
Right.
And it's a workers' comp claim.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
That's the nice part. But yeah, I've been on painkillers for the beginning of the week, and now I take the 800 milligram Motrins.
What were the painkillers like?
The OxyContin.
Yeah, so what was
Percocet.
that? It was just like you would feel very relaxed or...
Just like tired. They made me tired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
And then I take the Motrin, and they make me just kind of like drowsy. I just want to sit around and do nothing. because they're those 800 milligrams. So
Yeah.
I was going to go back tomorrow, but then I was talking with them at work, and I think I'm just going to take it easy because I can't
Take the rest of the month off.
Yeah, I can't. I have to type, and I can't type.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You write your stories.
So I have one hand. It's like you can't do anything. You can't wash your hands. You can't type.
You can't. What
can't
about
do-
wiping?
Wipe. Right.
Do you have Allie come in and
Can't
help?
Yeah. Just now she has to change 2 diapers.
Allie, I made duty. Can you
Yep.
come in now and wipe me?
She has to change 2 diapers.
That's a finger splint with toilet paper roll built in.
Yeah.
That's it.
So my life this week's been kind of miserable.
Yeah,
so
that-
I
you
am.
must be
I am
good.
anxious to get back to work, but it's just there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
'Cause it still hurts.
How many stitches?
6 stitches.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow.
That's
And
probably...
did they say you did any permanent damage to anything? Like
No,
nerves
because
or
they said
anything?
luckily it didn't cut on like the tendon and cut like just above it, like in the fatty part of your finger.
Okay.
So if it was, it's kind of like right here.
Oh, that's nerve ending. That hurts.
Yeah, so it hurts. It really hurts. So that's why I've been needing to do the painkillers.
Yeah.
So because if it didn't hurt as much, I probably could have gone back to work earlier. But like, I'd take something at night, and then I wake up in the morning, and I'd start feeling it kind of throbbing again.
I was also thinking, though, the whole typing thing that you said, I mean, that's a big part of it. You can't type with that big-ass thing around your finger.
No, you can't at all.
Yeah, that's
At
the
all.
big part.
And you probably shouldn't be working on those kind of painkillers anyway.
No, because I can't. And then I don't even know if I can drive.
Right.
You know, I have one hand to drive with. I
Right.
don't know if I can drive.
Is it the hand that goes on the wheel or the one that goes on the automatic shift?
The one that goes on the automatic shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My stick shift
Can't
hand.
imagine you driving. Hitting from P to D is major.
P to D. Well, luckily in the Prius, it's easy to.
Oh,
to
yeah,
shift
that's right.
gears.
Is yours still like mine where it's kind of a flick?
Yeah. You just move it around.
Yeah, you just kind of give it a little flick where it goes. Yeah, that's right.
and push the button to park.
Right. And since, Lowell, before we move on, since we're still talking about you here, so funny, the last show, I think it was, we were talking about grocery stores and things that drive us crazy. And Lowell sends me a video with a picture from his perspective pushing a cart down the aisle in what looked like a Harris Teeter. And this is what I hear.
So loud.
And this is not on a loop.
You must have been going fast.
Winner!
Well, I was doing it so that I could get the full effect. I just went like full speed down one of the aisles.
That's really fast.
Yeah. And I was doing, and like, it was so loud. So loud.
You must have been going like 3 to 4 miles per hour doing that.
So loud. And it was even louder than like that.
Oh my
and that's so
gosh.
funny because that was really, it
We're
was like
just
3
talking about
days.
it.
3 days later, maybe.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
But I did notice no Reed in the cart.
Yeah, no, we left him at. It's getting harder to take him to the grocery store now.
So what, you guys left him at the house by himself?
So no, Allie stays with him.
Resistance is futile. It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
Thank you for checking out this best of episode. If you have any ideas or feedback for the next best of, you can find me on the internets, floating around out there with everybody else. The full crew will be back very soon for another episode of the Marc and Lowell Show.
Get flat. Everybody get flat. Or make the place so tidy. Everybody get flat.
Hey, Dream Wizards.
Hi, do you have any do you have the Dungeons and Dragons 3 set?
No, we don't.
But you guys said you were just going to get them in stock today.
Is this Mark Ronick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to go.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna send a troll over to your house.
For this edition of the Best of Mando, I dug back into the Mando logs and found 3 fresh segments. from years ago. So not so fresh. For this edition of the Best of Mandel, I dug back into the Mandel logs and found 3 more entertaining